This video is sponsored by HBO Max. Now let's talk about some movies. Hey there guys, how are you? So in this video, I'm going to talk about my top 10 movies you need to watch right now on HBO Max. If you want to, but you probably should. And along the way, I'm going to break down each movie, my personal connection to it, and why I recommend that you guys watch these movies. And I mean this when I say it, HBO Max contains more of my favorite films of all time than any other streaming platform out there. I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes you spend more time on other platforms searching for a good movie to watch rather than watching a movie. I've spent 45 minutes to an hour trying to find a movie to watch, and by that time I fall asleep, I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning covered in stale popcorn, and I ask myself, why? On HBO Max, I never had that issue. My only problem is trying to pick which one of my favorite titles I want to watch that night. And to put it simply, I feel like HBO Max has more quality titles and more of my favorites than any other platform out there. That is my honest opinion of HBO Max. Now go grab some popcorn and let's talk about some movies. There's no popcorn in here. I wish there was. It's not who I am underneath, but which movies I watch that define me. And if you want to be defined as someone who likes great films, definitely watch Batman Begins. And by the way, this list is in no particular order. It's just 10 movies in a video that I think you guys should watch for a multitude of reasons. And when it comes to Batman Begins, I remember watching this in theaters back in 2005, and I've always enjoyed movies, but something about this movie, re-inspired me to love cinema even more than I ever did as a kid. And just thinking about this film every time, it puts a smile on my face, it motivates me, it makes me want to go do something like become a billionaire, put on a latex suit and fight crime at night. For me, Batman Begins was more than just a movie. It was true inspiration and life motivation. It inspired me to go a different direction in life and do different things, and kind of made me want to be a better person in a way. And I know that sounds cheesy, but I'm keeping it real with you guys. This was always more than just a movie for me, and if it wasn't for Batman Begins, I don't know if I would have started making YouTube videos. Like, this is the kind of motivation that this film gave me. It also taught me as a man I'm corruptible, but as a symbol, I can be much more. And that's why I am now known as the Flick Pick, the vigilante of YouTube, who talks about movies that you should watch. Let's go to the next one. Since we just talked about Batman, it only makes sense to talk about his arch nemesis, Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix. And this film was everything it needed to be and more. It was a deep dive into madness. The Joker for me was a visceral experience that I enjoyed every single second of, and it also contains one of the best knock-knock jokes ever in a movie. Let's go to the next movie. Next up is Troy. A lot of people have not seen this film, which baffles my brain, but some people have. But I don't feel like enough people truly appreciate the film Troy for what it is. First of all, Brad Pitt as Achilles is amazing. The battle sequences in this film are truly stunning. They're so cinematic and epic. And when it comes to epic films, Troy is in my top 5 epic films of all time for multiple reasons. It's a sword and sandals film, and those are some of my favorite films of all time, and I truly don't feel like we get enough of those. In my honest opinion, I feel like the film Troy is truly underrated. For this fact alone, it contains one of the best fight sequences between two characters I've ever seen in a film, and it's between Eric Bana's character and Brad Pitt's character, and it's such a raw and visceral fight sequence, and the conflict and the emotion. Go watch that scene alone. If that doesn't inspire you to watch the entire film, well then nothing else will. Don't be a sack of wine. Go watch Troy right now. Let's go to the next movie. Next up is Blade. Not only is this a phenomenal comic book movie, it's just a great action film. And with a huge influx of comic book movies over the years, I sort of feel like Blade has been forgotten, and it's underrated in my opinion. It's a rated R 1990s comic book movie that gets it right. And did I mention Wesley Snipes, who plays Blade in this movie, is just tearing vampires apart? It's phenomenal. The opening scene alone that takes place in a nightclub with techno music playing in the background, it still gives me chills every time I think about it. I don't feel like I need to say anything else to convince you to see this film if you haven't, and if you already have, go watch it again. But the film is Fight Club, directed by David Fincher, one of my favorite films that he's ever made, and I love the social commentary in this film. Because as a society, we buy things that we don't want and don't need to impress people that we don't like. I've used that line many times throughout life, but that's pretty much the main commentary of this film, and I like it for that reason. And you have Edward Norton's character who's stuck in this daily grime of life. He works a 9-to-5 job that he hates, he has insomnia, until he meets Brad Pitt's character, and he just becomes a completely different person, and they throw fight clubs in a dark, damp basement where they just beat each other up. And it's a bizarre film with an amazing twist that'll blow your mind wide open. Go watch Fight Club right now. You have to be in the right mood, though. It's preferably if it's raining outside, you want to feel a little dark and icky. That's how I like to feel when I watch it. So check it out. Next up is The Departed, directed by Martin Scorsese. The man can do no wrong, and also The Departed is a remake, and it's a phenomenal remake that I remember seeing in theaters and I've loved ever since, and it has one of the greatest cast of all time. You have Jack Nicholson, you have Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, and Mark Wahlberg. Hey, say hi to your mother for me. It's a perfect crime, drama, mob movie, and Jack Nicholson just chews up the scenery throughout this film. It's one of my favorite performances he's ever given. For example, there's a phenomenal scene in this film where Jack Nicholson is having a conversation and he's holding a severed hand. Just all nonchalant like. I love it. Castaway, one of my favorite films of all time, where Tom Hanks has a legitimate conversation throughout a film with a volleyball. And it's gripping and moving and dramatic all at the same time, and that's not even a joke. When you're watching this film, you truly get invested in a volleyball. If I didn't sell you on watching Castaway, I don't know if anything else I say after this will. In all seriousness, I truly feel like Castaway is a near-perfect film that gives me all these different vibes and tones that I like when I watch a film. Now, a lot of people's biggest complaint with Castaway is there's not a lot of dialogue once Tom Hanks is stranded on this island in the middle of nowhere. And I like that. Something about that's relaxing. I like when a film shows me something rather than tells me something. Also, I sort of like extreme isolation every once in a while. I crave it. And when I watch a film like Castaway, I find it highly relaxing just watching Tom Hanks live his life on this island trying to break open coconuts for 20 minutes. But to dive a little bit deeper into Castaway, it's one of those films that by the end of it, you sort of question your own life decisions and which direction you should go. And I don't know, we've all sort of imagined what it would be like to be stranded on an island for 5 years, or at least I have, and I don't feel like I could open a coconut. I truly don't know if I could figure it out, so I probably wouldn't last long, but yeah, go watch Castaway. Ocean's 11. It sort of feels like there's a reoccurring theme throughout this video. I love crime movies, and also, yet again, this is another film that stars Brad Pitt. How many Brad Pitt films do I have on my list? And as far as the cast of this film goes, I don't think you could ask for a better ensemble cast than what this movie has. You have Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Matt Damon, Julia Roberts. And in Ocean's 11, Julia Roberts' character plays a love interest to George Clooney's character, Danny Ocean. And the thing I like about this film is he doesn't necessarily go through all of this just for the money. He sort of does it for her character, and I like that. It's a nice little touch. And also, once again, this is another remake on my list, but it's a phenomenal remake. It's directed by Steven Soderbergh. Highly recommend it, and just the visual style that he gives this film is very unique, so definitely check it out. Raising Arizona. A lot of people probably haven't seen this film on the list, but that's okay because I'm going to give you a few reasons why you need to watch it. The first main reason is it stars the great, legendary Nicolas Cage. Do you need more? Okay, I'll keep going. It was made in the 1980s. It's directed by the Coen brothers, who are responsible for other great comedy movies like The Big Lebowski. Keep in mind, it is a comedy movie, but the synopsis doesn't sound like that. It's about an unlikely pair, a couple who want a child so bad, Nicolas Cage's character actually kidnaps a child. I know that sounds bad, but in the context of the film, it doesn't seem that bad. You're sort of rooting for the couple. So yeah, it's definitely a really fun, enjoyable 1980s flick. You need to go watch it right now. And not enough people have seen this movie, but it's one of my favorite Nicolas Cage films of all time. And now the last and final film on my list is Saving Private Ryan, directed by Steven Spielberg. And this is without a doubt my favorite war film ever made. This film is so immersive, and I feel like it truly encompasses what World War II was all about, and the emotions and the characters and the soldiers, and just the scene alone of them storming Normandy Beach and the brutality and how horrific that scene is. The way that it's shot truly makes you feel like you're in the action, and it's startling to watch, and it makes you feel like a coward in a way, because I can't imagine being there, getting off that boat to storm a beach, and it's just, oh man, it's definitely one of those movies that takes a lot out of you, but it's also one of those films I feel like everyone should watch at least once, and I watch this film every couple of years, and it's definitely an intense thrill ride that never gets old. Alright, those are my top 10 movies you need to watch right now on HBO Max. And once again, when it comes to HBO Max, it has a better selection of my favorite films and quality titles compared to any other platform. And I also like the way that the app functions. It's easy to find movies and navigate. It truly is like my favorite go-to app to watch my favorite movies of all time. And the best thing is, if you guys want to watch some of your favorite movies of all time, right now you can get a free 7-day trial to check out, try out, and watch some movies over on HBO Max. Yeah, it's a free 7-day trial. Just use my link down below in the description box. Watch the movies. Watch some of the movies I just recommended. Watch all of the movies I just recommended. Just stay up for 2 days watching all 10 movies. What else is there to do? So definitely check that out. Once again, the link is down below to HBO Max. And my biggest question to you guys is, which movie are you going to watch first at HBO Max? Yeah, leave your thoughts, your opinions, your comments down below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.